What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the internet being completely split and on fire over the Rarity Collection 2 reveals. Some people are calling this absolute dog water trash, it's gonna flop on arrival. Other people are saying, what are you talking about? This is a pretty darn good set list. And I'm in the camp that this is a good set list, but it lacks a little something, and I think it will actually fail initially, but turn out good down the road. Do you remember Dude? Dude actually failed on arrival. It was on the clearance rack at Walmart for months on end. They couldn't get rid of it. At $28, people even forgot it was a $40 MSRP product that was being clearanced at $26 to $28, and now it's held as a pinnacle of what Konami could do. It ended up selling for $70, $80, $90 down the road, but Rarity Collection 2 does reminisce about that set in my opinion. It misses a truly high dollar value item of the past, although Crossout Designator has its own pre-sale history, and then you get split takes like this. Cali Effect saying, whoever thinks Rarity Collection 2 is good is a paid actor. I am paid actually whenever pre-sales happen with my code and that sort of stuff, but with this set, I'm going to say, hold down the fort on pre-sales. I would only buy maybe a couple of things, study how Rarity Collection 1 and reprint resales go, and vendors better put forward some very good prices despite the up MSRP of this set, which isn't as much as people think, but is still kind of a negative ding on this set. Then you have Scarlon saying consistently better than Rarity Collection 1 in my opinion. I don't agree with that. I think Rarity Collection 1 did some things right with past current meta staples while mixing in to the very far back of Yu-Gi-Oh! Some misses in here, very sad about No Diviner, agreed, but overall, just a really good set. I agree it's a good set. It stopped short of being a great set, and I also think there are fair constructive criticisms against this set, and then there's kind of unfair ones, but let's go ahead and go through the set list and then break it down. We have Rescue Cat, OG, and Alter Art, DD Crow, Raikou, Super Nimble Mega Hamster, and cards like these are clearly for past format players. People are, some of them, calling it irrelevant junk. Boomer here, I played in those formats, they're pretty fun, and Edison is officially supported by Konami in Time Wizard format, where those giant cards are going for some of the biggest prizes in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cash-wise, $4,000, $5,000 for like the giant Black Rose Dragon. Skullmeister in here, which already had a collector rare, which will be a theme. Same with Droll and Lockbird OG art, had a collector and ulti, and then you have the Alter Art. Chaos Hunter I actually really enjoy seeing in here. It's cards like these that aren't necessarily on the cusp of being value right now, but then this prevents them from ever going out of whack while also giving a high rarity version. I like that. King's Copium had a collector rare, Rescue Rabbit. Ghost Ogre seems to be Alter Art only. Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, which did have a ghost. You have the Silence, which Silent Magician and Swordsman are a theme. Good timing, by the way, for Magician, which was very high up in price for not having a reprint for a long time. Phantasme so far is only Alter Art as I understand it, and Dual Daddy addresses that here. By the way, these are his graphics. Magician's Souls is a pretty good reprint considering they short printed it multiple times up into coming with this, but you could have the same criticisms with Rarity 1 with, say, Forbidden Droplet, right? And Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill, Alter Art, Aluber, Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, Purely, Sarveus, Illusion of Chaos. Then we get to the fusions with Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. We have Masquerade. We have Guardian Chimera, which is a really well-timed reprint actually because it's coming back up in price right now. Garura's nice to see. Bear Brum, Trishula, TG Hyper Librarian, Cyframe Lord Omega, Crystal Wing, Synchro Dragon. I feel like I'm saying hit after hit in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh! History, but not necessarily currently accessible price. But then you have to remember, every card is every rarity. Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, Coral Dragon, Psychic, and Punisher, which also Psychic and Punisher was the theme for a specific box in the OCG, so I don't think we're ever going to get that equivalent of Mavens 2. Abyss Dweller, Trap Tricks Rafflesia, the Phantom Knight Break Sword, Hope Harbinger, Dugaris, and Exo Sister Magnifica rounds out the Xyz. And again, a lot of these did have collector rares already on Inception when we talk about like the side set cards. We have Heretic Seal, Apollo Urbosa Altar, Masquerena Altar, Unchained Soul of Rage, Boral and Dragon, super cool to see in my opinion, Access Code Talker, and Underworld Goddess. Again, Underworld Goddess was the theme of what would be Maven's 2 for us, so I just don't think we're getting it. Mind Control, Polymerization, Mystical Space Typhoon. I really like MST, and people have been asking why about this one the most. MST is one of the cards with the most rarities in the game, and I like that continuity with Blue Eyes and Stardust. I honestly am really glad it's in here. Foolish Burial, Book of Moon, Enemy Controller, which is a sore spot for people pulling the OTS ulti, Gold Sarcophagus, Emergency Teleport, Book of Eclipse, Charge of the Light Brigade, Preparation of Rites, Pot of Duality, Forbidden Lance, Xyz Encore, Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclone, Bingo Machine Go. It actually needed a reprint. The price was still very high. Like, people have been pointing this as a bad reprint in the set. Crossout Designator, one of the leads of the set, really nice to see in here. We have Abomination Prison. The Unchained stuff is nice to see. Fusion Deployment, Exosister Packs. We have the Planets and Sol and Luna. We have Ultimate Slayer, My Friend Purely Pretty Memory. We have the other Pressured Planets and Rageful Planet. We have Solemn Judgment, Anti-Spell Fragrance, Skill Drain, Solemn Warning, Solemn Strike. Now, I do have some issues here with the set before we get into the set list itself, and that's the pricing. And people are overquoting this because it's very expensive per box. In the US, we have 18 packs per box, and it is $9.99 a pack double because they're including more cards. However, that's a $189.81 retail box. That's pretty absurd. And for the EU, you can see these are the early deals, except this is 24 packs in the EU boxes, it seems. Farfa did an opening and that box looked freaking thick. So when it comes down to this is actually like a 25% off MSRP plus, and Tier Zero is doing their best. You can use code What'sGood5 for 5% off and to support the channel directly over there, although I wouldn't necessarily at this juncture. EU print usually is supreme, though, in my opinion, when it comes down to this. This box price point is absolutely absurd, and vendors have to pay more for their cases, which also might play into the supply of the set. Will it be over or under ordered? I still think it will be over ordered from the success of Rarity Collection 1, and they had to buy into it even more. But the real difference in price is per card. So when we talk about OG Rarity Collection, it is 99 cents a card. But when we have 9 cards at $9.99 per pack, I believe that comes down to 1.1 repeating. So it's basically 12 more cents-ish per card. And that's not the greatest increase, 12% when you're talking about it, but over the entirety of it, having to also buy into it more at once with not as stellar of a entire list, in my opinion, then you get into a lot of conversations on how this set will probably initially flop. Now, why I do say that is you're missing the star past reprints. You do have Droll and Lockbird, which actually started as a rare in Starstrike Blast. Then you have Crossout Designator, which fell on its face during pre-sales and reached a height of 60 after falling on its face, I believe was its max. And so when we look through Yu-Gi-Oh! History, like Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, I think 60 to 80 was its tops. We're missing like the star-studded past of Yu-Gi-Oh! Talking Forbidden Droplet, Triple Tactic Talents, the Ash Blossom that we waited forever to have another kind of high rarity reprint of. And that was really exciting. Here, Droll and Lockbird being one of the most exciting, well, it joins a very long list of cards that I've pointed out have already had an OTS or Starlight / Collector Rare. So OTS Ulti, Starlight Collector Rare. I'm not including in this list, by the way, the Altar Arts, like Masquerena, so you could even consider those to have already Starlights, Ghost Ogre, and then I'm also not including cards like Solemn Warning in this list that had core set ultis instead. So we have Starlight DD Crow, Collector Rare Rescue Rabbit, OTS Droll and Lockbird, Collector Rare Skullmeister, OTS Econ, Starlight Dragoon, Collector Rare Guardian Chimera, Starlight Illusion of Chaos, Starlight and OTS Trishula, OTS Dweller, OTS Rafflesia, Starlight Rare Access Code. All these cards are going to take hits on the market, and some of these were very well used to help sell sets, if not sell the set themselves. We also have Starlight Rare Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. Oh, this is also isn't including the Ghost Rare Blue Eyes alternative. OTS MST, OTS Book of Moon Ultis, OTS Duality, Collector Rare and OTS Cyclone, OTS Twin Twister, Starlight Ultimate Slayer, Collector Rare My Friend Purely, Collector Rare Purely Pretty Memory, Collector Rare Purely. We have Collector Rare Exo Sister Magnifica and Collector Rare Exo Sister Pax, OTS Aluber, Collector Rare E-Telly, OTS Solemn Judgment, OTS Solemn Strike, which, to be fair, it's been a very long time since that one, OTS Skill Drain, and then also Collector Rare Anti-Spell. And I actually think I'm missing a few, like I don't know if I added the Collector Rare Droll in here. I did not. So I'm actually in this list. This was kind of off the top of my head looking at the set list. That's a third of the set about that already had high rarity cards in circulation. However, others of these are extremely wanted and coveted on the market, like Super Foolish Burial from its own tournament pack. This finally does update that legacy in a really good way. So I think things that even sold past tournament packs, good for it coming around to here, but many of these did already have their history in the game. But Gold Sark, I won one of those. It's really nice to finally see it get this kind of spread as well. Alter Art Apollosa, kind of cool to see it. And a lot of these that people complained were only in gold rare. So I think it's give and take with cards that do have high rarities for certain versions, but that still is a very long list of cards used to sell sets, like, you know, when it comes down to Dragoon being a Starlight, that directly was to sell a set. I think it negatively impacts the secondary market to a large degree, and Konami does care about cashing in on it while maintaining it, and I do feel like I'm still a fan of Rarity Collection at the end of the day. I think this set is good for the community, I think it's good for the list, and I think overall the market will shift and survive, and those who already claimed they were quitting either really did quit or came back after selling out of a lot of their cards. You never truly quit Yu-Gi-Oh, as they say. I think it is still fair to point out the amount of cards that already had special versions, especially recently. I think that is a fair criticism. I think it's also fair to point out the upped MSRP, although a lot of people are blowing it over out of projection on the per card price, rather than how it kind of gatekeeps people from going, yeah, a box for about 100, sure. Oh, that's way more than I was thinking of spending when it comes down to these really high price boxes. This definitely will slow sales and hurt the set. And yeah, buying a pack will still feel fun and good and all, and it's still near that $1 per card, but it's rising above it. And honestly, I hope that does get punished a bit on the secondary market in the immediate, but that will unfortunately hurt stores, and that's going to have a lot of fallout on its own. When it comes to the set though, I'm seeing a lot of parallels to Dude 2. All these cards are going to be forever accessible in the super and ultra range, and a lot of them will cycle back in to formats and could have become very expensive once again. Phantasme recently cycled back into formats, and people were buying up the high rarity versions of this. A lot of past formats are going to get helped by this. Are there cards they missed? Sure, there's a lot I wish were in here. Charge of the Light Brigade was one of my top hopes, and actually got it. That was awesome timing. I feel like with this, there's so much Yu-Gi-Oh history while having something for the present, yet it still failed to seal the big boy bonus of big boy card promises that Rarity Collection 1 did fulfill, even if they weren't that high at the time. At least throughout history, they were crazy. This has a lot of mid to high value rather than that super high value. And yeah, they really could have gone ahead and taken some things that could have been 10 reprints and stuff like that, because they do that for sets like these. Example, Aluber. Now, when it comes to history, have they done this before? Yeah, and they fell on their face. Ghost from the Past 1 was $15 a set, super popular, and even though it was still, you know, the $1 per card hit here, they upped this to 20, made you buy more of it, gave more ghost rares, but the quality control for the ghosts were terrible, and this sits around $66 per little, you know, display here, and MSRP would be $100. Versus shipping and fees, people are still, today, taking a loss, where Ghost from the Past 1, they couldn't stop selling it, and people were after it so bad, but Ghost from the Past 2 upped the price, didn't have enough value inside, quality control was a huge factor there too, so there are outside factors to mention, but they have tried to capitalize on something super popular, failed, and never brought it back. I don't think that will be the case for Rarity Collection 2. I do think, though, again, in the immediate, ain't gonna do too hot. Let me know what you think about Rarity Collection 2. Do you like the list? There's plenty from here I will personally be getting. And I also think it's going to pull Rarity Collection 1 up by comparison. People are saying it so favorably versus that, and they're going to reach back to cards for their collection. This, in addition, will also support another set that has already been out for some time, but that's mostly in the hand of resellers at this point, right? Like, that's going to have dried up the supply after a whole year of being out. Konami can do whatever they want. They could re-wave it unlimited. They could create a 2-pack. It'll be interesting to see what people come up with to sell this set that Konami has priced up so much. But yeah, the factors of pricing, it does hurt the entry to this and will slow sales, in my opinion. I've been around here for a while. Not a financial advisor channel, but I've seen a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sold. Thanks for watching today's video. Again, I like the set, but it's not a promising start. That's all I have to really sum it up to.